If you've ever looked on Amazon for any type of cameras or camera gear, you've probably come across these $50 to $100 camcorders, action cameras, and point and shoot cameras that claim to have some pretty impressive specs like 4K video recording, 48 megapixel photos, waterproof, image stabilization, great for YouTube. They have all these claims that just seem way too good to be true for the price point of these cameras. So in today's video, we're gonna put those claims to the test. So I ended up buying 3 different versions of these cameras. I bought one action camera, one camcorder, and then one YouTube vlogging point and shoot camera. And so I'm gonna open all these up, see what you actually get in the boxes and what the quality of these actually looks like. And we're gonna find out exactly how misleading or potentially underrated these cameras actually are. All right, so we're gonna start out with this 4K Ultra HD digital camera. Like I said, there's not really brands on these, and sometimes it's just the same camera with a different brand, so they're pretty much just brandless cameras. But this right here is digital camera. And so the box itself is pretty generic. There's just some pictures of the camera. And then right here, it shows some of the specs. So 4K video, supposedly, 48 megapixel photos, autofocus, it has a flash, anti-shake, so it's got stabilization apparently, 16x powerful zoom, beauty face, and face detection. And so that's all the specs that it mentions on the box, but let's go ahead and get this thing out and see what you actually get. I actually forgot to mention the price, so let's go ahead and pull up the Amazon listing real quick. Okay, so this one I picked up for $87.99, so a little under $100 for this. And so right here, 4K, 48 megapixel, it comes with an SD card supposedly, 180-degree 3-inch flip screen for vlogging, anti-shake, digital zoom, pretty much the specs that were listed on the box. But it does look like it comes with 2 batteries, a micro SD, as well as a charger. All for under $100. That seems pretty decent, and a microfiber. And you can also see this brandless point and shoot camera for $87 is the #1 new release in digital point and shoot cameras. And it's been sold over 1,000 times in the past month. So there's legitimately a bunch of people buying and using this camera. And the ratings are somehow a 4.5 star. Again, I just can't imagine this is even a decent camera, but that's of course what we're testing today. So let's go ahead and get this thing out. Of course, got the user manual, but we don't look at those. Let's go ahead and open this up. All right, there's the battery charger right there. It's actually a USB-C charger. So we're kind of getting decent new technology, no micro USB or anything like that. And this is a tiny battery charger. I wish all battery chargers were this small, to be honest. Next up, just a USB wall outlet brick. Really anything extra we get besides the camera is pretty awesome to be included for $87. All right, right here is the accessory box. So we'll open that in just a second. And then of course, this is probably the camera box. So we don't need that. Battery charger, we might need that later, but I'll put that out of the way for now. Same with this. All right, so we got these 2 boxes right here. First of all, let's open up this accessory box. All right, so here we go. We got a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. Pretty standard, 32 gigs. Probably hold quite a bit of data on this camera. It looks like a mini to full-size HDMI cable. So it must have a mini HDMI output, but still an HDMI cable came with it. That's kind of cool. Got the USB-C for charging. A little wrist strap, which again, I wasn't expecting to see that. Really doesn't feel like terrible quality, to be honest. It's got a quick release on it. I mean, yeah, a wrist strap. All right, there's the 2 batteries that said it came with. These are 800 milliamp hour batteries, which I don't know, doesn't seem terrible, to be honest. And then we get a lens cap. And then right here, we got the camera. Let's get this out. Look at that, it's like in its own soft case. All right, that's everything in that box. All right, this is really light. It doesn't feel very good quality. I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but it's definitely, I mean, think of about the cheapest plastic quality you can think of. But it does have like a textured grip on it. It's actually textured around most of the body, and it's like this slightly soft plastic feeling. So the grip itself is honestly pretty decent, I guess. So it looks like you got a hot shoe on top, and then, you know, just a little hot shoe cover. There's holes here, which is probably the microphone. That doesn't rotate at all. That doesn't rotate at all either. So just the photo button and then a power button up top here, and then some just fake chrome dials. You got a little strap lug on the left and the right side, it looks like. A zoom in and a zoom out button, a couple selections, and mode and menu. Yeah, it's a pretty basic camera. Looks like you got a flash up front as well, which is set on the box. All right, so I guess let's go ahead and put the battery in and get this thing powered up. All right, there we go, battery's in there. I'm gonna peel off all these, you know, little plastic things. All right, and then, oh, okay. The micro SD card slot is actually right here. Usually it's under the battery cover, but this one's just right in the bottom of the camera here. You can see, there we go, got that clicked in. All right, Let's try to power this thing up. There we go. That was a pretty quick startup. All right, so it's powered on, it's working. You can see right there. Let's see if we can see myself. There we go. I don't know if I'm in focus. I actually see a boxer on my face. All right, I'm gonna flip this around so you're not gonna be able to see it for a second. Okay. There's a boxer on my face and I can see it focusing, so there actually is autofocus in this. I was assuming it was just a fixed focus lens that just had a really deep depth of field. Although I really don't know if it's a good or bad thing that it has autofocus, because I can already see it kind of hunting back and forth quite a bit, even though I'm kind of in the same spot. And I don't think it's touchscreen. No, it's not touchscreen, which isn't really that big of a deal. Look at that, so there's a bunch of different photo resolution modes. You can go all the way down to 2 megapixel and all the way up to 48 megapixels, which is supposedly 8,000 by 6,000 pixels. We'll see about that. I mean, 48 megapixels is a lot of resolution, and maybe it technically is, but I can guarantee it's not the same as 48 megapixels on a, you know, APS-C or full frame camera sensor or something like that, because this probably has a tiny sensor, like probably smaller than a smartphone sensor in this thing. It does have single and continuous shooting, so I actually want to just check real quick how fast the continuous shooting is on this. I don't know if you could hear that. It only took 3 and then it stopped actually. I was holding it down the whole time. It was about 1 photo per second, so that's definitely not the best continuous shooting speed. It's got a self timer. You can adjust the exposure, white balance. Okay, quality right here, super fine, fine, or normal. Of course, we'll keep that in super fine. All right, let's try to switch it to video. So I think mode right there. All right, right there. So we got full HD. Let's see if I can change that. All right, here we go, movie size. So we'll change it from full HD up to Ultra HD 4K. And then we can do normal, motion detection, time-lapse photo, and then slow motion video. I'm actually kind of surprised to see slow motion on there. I wonder what frame rate that records in, but let's do normal video for now. All right, I think that's everything. So we're in 4K video mode. I'm gonna flip this screen around, and actually it only flips, so I can't adjust this any other way except right here or right there. It doesn't tilt, it doesn't do anything else except just flip out like that. All right, let's see. First video test, 4K video. All right, I think I'm recording. That looks very choppy. I don't know if it's just on the camera, but this looks really choppy. Okay, so it turns out 4K is only in 15 frames per second. So that might be kind of hard to watch. I apologize right off the bat for that. All that footage you just saw or about to see or whatever is in 4K 15 frames per second. But right now I'm recording with the same camera in 2.7K, which goes up to 30 frames per second. So really this isn't even a 4K camera. Like, I would not call that usable at all for anything in my opinion. You kind of have to go down to 2.7K or lower to get normal looking video like this is. Now I'm also testing out the microphone input. So I have a wireless lav mic, the Rode Wireless Pro, plugged directly into this camera right now. And as far as I know, there's no audio settings in the menu or anything like that. So this is just what it's gonna sound like with a microphone plugged into it. And so hopefully this audio also sounds a little bit better. I don't see a boxer on my face right now, so that might only be in photo mode where it tracks your face. Let me get up and start walking around a little bit, you know, do a little vlog test, a little stabilization test. Now also, this screen is mirrored right now, so if I move the camera to the left, it moves it to the right, so I'm kind of trying to like correct this. It's like just opposite right now. All right, here's a good dynamic range test. So that's a pretty bright light. That's my key light in the background there. And I just have some other lights up here lighting me right now. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm actually gonna set this up right next to my main camera real quick. So I'm just gonna set it up right over here, try to get a similar looking shot, and then, you know, just kind of go back and forth so you can see what the quality difference is between this camera and then my Sony a7S III. All right, I just balanced it on top of my camera, so I really hope it doesn't fall off, but this is a pretty close comparison to framing and everything like that. So let me know what you think. I mean, this right here is a Sony a7S III. It's like a $3,000 camera versus, you know, the $87 brandless, you know, what's the model number on it again? Versus the $87 DC101 camera. I'm not gonna lie, just from seeing it on the screen, it does look a little better than I expected, and for 87 bucks, I mean, I still wouldn't use this over my smartphone or anything like that, but maybe just as, you know, a camera to have fun with, just to mess around with, you know, maybe as like a replacement for a disposable camera or something like that. I could see this being pretty useful. But next up, let's go ahead and check out the action camera. All right, so this is the Akaso EK7000 action camera. Now this thing honestly looks like it's packaged pretty decent. So this is a 4K 30 frame per second waterproof action camera. It has image stabilization, time lapse, 20 megapixel photos. And if you put it on the back, it actually looks like it comes with a bunch of stuff. So it comes with the action camera, waterproof case, a wireless remote control, battery charger, battery, mount, helmet mount, clip, clip 2, handlebar mount, tether, bandage, USB cable, protective back door, and a quick start guide. And the best part is this one comes in at $52.99. So let's pull up this Amazon listing. All right, so $52.99. This does 4K 30 frames per second, supposedly, 20 megapixel action camera, Ultra HD, underwater, 131 feet waterproof. Now we're definitely gonna take this out. I don't think I can go 131 feet, but we're gonna take this out and actually test the waterproofness, because I feel like that's one of the big things of this. You know, you might wanna just get this as like a fun camera to take with you swimming or something like that. So I'll definitely be testing that out. And it looks like 170-degree wide angle, so ultra wide lens, 4x zoom, supports external microphone. That's interesting. So I wonder if it has a microphone port. Now this one's insane. So this has been sold 7,000 plus times in the last month, and it's the #1 bestseller in underwater photography cameras. So like I said, I definitely have to test the waterproofness of this, which I'll be doing. But this one seems like a pretty decent deal for $53. I mean, this is a lot cheaper than that last camera we just looked at. And you know, also coming with all those accessories and everything like that. I'm pretty excited to see what this looks like. So let's get out of the box. All right, so it's packaged just like GoPros, or at least the old GoPros I used to buy were packaged pretty much just like this. They kind of have this plate on the top here. All right, so then everything else comes right back in this box here. So yeah, it looks like we got a back case right here. Comes with 2 batteries. Frame cage right here has a 1/4-20 mount on it, which is nice to see. This is, oh, the battery charger. So it charges 2 batteries at once through USB-C. So again, that's pretty solid. We got a tether right here. I don't know, a couple straps. Yeah, a bunch of mounts. So yeah, just a bunch of mounts. And then right here is the wireless remote. All right. Oh, I forgot about the camera. And so here's the camera right here. Now, this thing weighs barely anything. This is extremely light for what it is, to be honest, which again is pretty much expected with these low quality cameras. Let's peel this plastic off right here. That. So it looks like we got the waterproof case on it right now. And if we pull it out, man, that is even lighter. Like, this does not feel like there's a single electronic piece in this. This legitimately feels like it's just as light as this plastic cover would be. All right, there's that other peel thing. All right, so let's get that off. All right, all the peels are off. It looks like we've got a micro SD card port. We got a USB-C and then a micro HDMI, which is kind of nice to see a micro HDMI on this. And on this side, just got 2 buttons, one right there, one right there. And right here it says 4K again. We got the power and the mode button. And then up top we got the record button, and then it looks like a little tally lamp right there. And then on the bottom we just got this battery port here. So let's go ahead and get a battery in. And then let's try to power this thing up. Hey, look at that. And right now it's in 1080p 60 mode. It says it does 4K, so let's try to switch it to that and then of course get a SD card in here. All right, we got a nice one to put in this one. So this is a SanDisk Extreme Pro 64GB micro SD card. Let's go ahead and put that in. Okay, it still says no card. I'm just gonna power it off and power it back on. It does power on pretty quick. I mean, from pressing the button to being ready to shoot, it's only like 3 seconds or so. All right, so please format card. I kind of expected that. So let's try to figure out how to go through the menu here. It doesn't look like this is a touchscreen either. Let me double check actually. All right, it doesn't look like this one's touchscreen. So we'll just try to go through the menus with these buttons. 1080 60, 4K 30, 2.7K 30, 720 60. It does 720p 120 frames per second. That's not bad. 120 frames per second in any resolution for a $50 action camera, that's pretty decent. Let's do image stabilization on. All right, format. Let's go ahead and format the card. I'm kind of getting used to going through the menus now. It's really not that bad once you just kind of get the hang of it. But I'm gonna start recording this and just vlog with it for a second so you can see the quality. Maybe I'll set it up and try to do the same thing where you can kind of see the quality of this versus my A7S III. All right, here we go. I'm recording, and hopefully you can see me and hear me right now. This is what the audio sounds like on this camera versus, you know, obviously my lavalier microphone on my regular camera. And then the stabilization is on, so maybe you can see it kind of stabilizing a little bit. I'm gonna get up and walk around. I'm kind of moving around quite a bit, so this will be a test of the stabilization. Now this doesn't have any sort of flip screen, so I can't see myself right now for, you know, framing or anything like that. So keep that in mind if you are gonna vlog or something like that with this. But of course, the main thing is I wanna see if this is actually waterproof and what the video looks like underwater. So let's go do that. Okay, so I just ran a battery test and pretty much recorded with this camera from a full battery all the way until it died. And this is a couple days to a week after taking it underwater in a pool. And as far as I knew, it was fully dry and everything like that. But after that test, the camera itself is really warm. And you can see there's a ton of condensation inside of this case right now. All over in these corners, this is all condensation on the lens as well. And this is all inside this waterproof case. Look, you can even see there's some all over here. I had no clue there was this much liquid inside of this, that I don't know if it was inside of the camera itself or just somewhere in there that when it got warm enough, you know, it just kind of created this condensation. But again, this is days after taking it underwater, and during that, I didn't see any, if maybe just one tiny little drop that got inside of the case itself. And so I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but I am a little nervous now seeing all this condensation that, you know, there is just a very small amount of liquid getting inside of this. And it still does work perfect at this point, at least. All right, hopefully this is framed good. I have it on top of my camera again to try to get similar framing. I'm gonna kind of just clear this stuff off my desk real quick. But let me know what you think of the audio. This is about just over an arm's length away, probably 4 feet away from me right now. You can kind of see what the audio sounds like on it, and of course the video quality. So right now I have really bright, pretty even lighting for the most part. I mean, I'm honestly surprised with everything it comes with. Just my experience so far for $53, especially for something like a waterproof action camera. This is something that I legitimately would consider buying just a really cheap version just to have fun with and mess around with without really worrying too much about the video quality. And so I'm guessing I have to pair this wireless remote to it, but I'm just gonna try pressing the buttons on it and just see if it does anything right now. No, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. So I'll probably have to pair that to the camera itself. But hopefully get an idea of what the audio and the video sounds and looks like on that right now. But next up, let's check out this HD digital video camcorder. So this is the box you get right here. Now this one also doesn't seem to have any sort of brand on it or anything like that. It's just an HD digital video camera, full HD 1080p, and again, pretty basic packaging, but it does have the specs on here. So full HD 1080p, 24 megapixels, looks like a 3-inch screen, and then 16 times digital zoom. And so this camera comes in at $52.76. And this one is a #1 bestseller in camcorders on Amazon, on the entire platform, with 2,000 plus bought in the last month. So this is another camera that just so many people are buying and using, and it's rated pretty well, that I just gotta check this thing out and see what you actually get for this for 52 bucks. And so this one again boasts all these specs, all these pictures that show, you know, these crazy video recording specs, 1080p, 24 megapixel resolution. You know, it shows them zooming in so much on this picture and still looks perfect. But if you kind of look more into the specs, it says full HD 1080p, 15 frames per second. 15 frames per second in 1080p. I don't think that's really usable for anything. Like, that's gonna be extremely choppy video that if you're like vlogging or just recording anything in handheld, which you're probably gonna do with this camera, 15 frames per second, I'm expecting that to look terrible. Now, obviously I'm gonna test it out and we'll see what it actually looks like. But if you do look into these specs a little more, that doesn't really sound the best, but 24 megapixel, 3-inch 270-degree rotation screen, 16x digital zoom. It comes with 2 batteries. I guess all there's left to do is just check this thing out and see what it actually looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this thing out. All right, so I got everything packed in right there. All right, looks like a video output cable right here. USB-C cable for charging. It's nice to see that all these have USB-C on them. I guess nowadays USB-C is kind of just the standard for everything, but you know, usually when I get really low-end electronic devices, they still have micro USBs, which definitely way worse than USB-C. Looks like a charging brick in here as well. And then this is one of the batteries. So these are honestly pretty decent sized batteries, at least compared to the other cameras we've looked at. 2 batteries as well. We've got a little microfiber in here as a bonus. The camera itself is in this padded soft case. That feels pretty decent. And of course, just the user manual right here, which we won't be needing that. There we go, there's the camera right there. But look at that. So HD right in the side there. This is the first one that doesn't boast 4K or something like that. So it's just HD. Up to 10 times more steady. 10 times more steady than what? Who knows, but it's up to 10 times more steady. Looks like there is a light right here, which is kind of neat. And yeah, it's an f3.2 supposedly, and then 7.36 millimeters. Again, the sensor on this is probably way smaller than even like a cell phone sensor is. So there's really only one way to find out what the quality is actually like. Screen opens up and yeah, it actually does turn, so that's not bad at all. So you can do vlogging, selfie style stuff. You can angle it up here for low angle stuff, which I really like to see that. And then of course, just the normal angle. All right, let's slide the battery in. Okay, it just powers right up, it looks like. And that, let's see if you can see that. There's two lines going right across the screen. Those look like the screen is damaged or not functional. All right, so let's flip it up there. Let's see if the zoom works at all. Yeah, it looks like the zoom rocker works. But definitely those lines on the screen, I'm guessing I just have a faulty unit. That's probably not gonna show up in all these. I'm sure it won't at least. So it looks like I just have kind of a faulty unit. Also looks like it has a hot shoe right there with a little cover on it. All right, then it looks like we have this cover right here, which has a microphone input and then a USB-C. So at least I think that's a microphone input, which a microphone input and a hot shoe on top to mount your microphone is honestly pretty cool to see. So like I could put the microphone I'm using right now on this camera and hypothetically get really good quality audio. You know, obviously the video is, well, we're about to find out at least, but we could get good audio out of this potentially. All right, I'm gonna grab my micro SD card, try to vlog with this for a second, see what the quality is like, see what the stabilization looks like, and then set it right up with this camera and do a comparison to see what it looks like compared to my Sony a7S III. All right, here we go. 16 gigabyte micro SD card. See, I actually gotta find out where, oh, there we go. All right, SD card slot is on the bottom. And there is a door to open it up, so it is covered. Oh, okay, this one actually has full-size SD cards. Let me grab a full-size SD card and we'll try this again. Here we go, all right. A SanDisk Extreme 16 gigabyte SD card. Slap this thing in there. All right, we'll do auto video mode. We'll do full HD. Again, this one doesn't do 4K like the other ones. There we go. So I can zoom in on myself there. There we go. Let's see if it focuses or exposes on me. Well, maybe not. All right, there's that. Let's go ahead and zoom all the way out. Let's go to selfie mode. So what the angle looks like. I kind of wish it was a little bit more zoomed out, a little bit of a wider angle, but this is full arm's length away right now, and then obviously this is the audio from the camcorder itself. It's definitely not very subtle when it comes to changing the auto exposure. You can see it's just stepping up and down, stepping up and down. For like 50 bucks, everything you get with this, you know, the quality, just the whole experience in general, I'm really surprised about. Again, I just can't recommend this to like replace a real camera or to replace your phone for recording YouTube videos and getting high quality stuff. But if this is what you're looking for, just, you know, a fun camera that you don't have to worry about, that you can just kind of toss around, bring with you, just to get fun videos and photos, this seems pretty decent. All right, I'm gonna set it up in my normal setup here and kind of just see what it looks like compared to my Sony a7S III. All right, there we go. The framing isn't perfect. You can kind of see what these look like side by side. So this is 1080p auto white balance. This is just whatever the standard microphone setting is. Hopefully the microphone's on and hopefully you can hear me all right. I'm guessing the quality isn't gonna be the best, but there is two microphones on the front there. So they are directed at me if you're, you know, doing something like this or vlogging. But let me know in the comments if you think this is worth the $50-ish price point and what you would use this camera for. Again, I just can't recommend this for like a replacement to a cell phone or something like that, or like a vlogging camera, you know, to try to get the best quality photos and videos you can. But just as a fun, like almost disposable style camera, it seems pretty decent, to be honest. So at the end of the day, if you want to purchase these for the specs listed on the Amazon page, to record good quality 4K video, to have 16x zoom, 48 megapixel photos, and all these things, I cannot recommend these. However, if you just want fun cameras to mess around with that are, you know, really, really inexpensive, all these are under $100. These honestly surprise me, and I think for some type of people, these might really be worth picking up and messing around with. Just make sure you buy these at your own risk and knowing what you're gonna get out of these. They are pretty misleading, all the specs that they try to show you in the title and the description. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.